Hello otakus and anime artists, my name is Ketsu and welcome to Drawing Exercise. We're not going to be doing a regular drawing anime tutorial. I'm instead going to be showing you drawing exercises. So for those who are kind of wondering why there's a drawing exercise, well, it's so that how you're able to draw, it gives you a muscle memory. So that whenever you draw a lot quicker, you draw a lot faster, and you get familiar with basic shapes and different forms so that whatever you draw that's from the top of your head, you can easily flush it out because you know what shapes to put in. You see all these other artists, they start off with the head, and it's always just a circle. And after a circle, you see the cross line, you see the crosshair. Then you go to the torso, you go to the arms, you go to the legs. You see all those little skeletons, and then you see them putting in shapes in different figures like a cylinder or a box. So what all these are is so that after the person who makes these, after they use their reference to use the pose that they're going to be putting in for their characters, then they move forward and they put in all these boxes so that they have a basic understanding as to the shape of what your character is going to be. So this is what the exercises is for. It's to help you understand the basic formal shapes as to your sense, your directional sense as to what you're going to draw. Now there's going to be several different steps. I'm sorry, 6. And you have 3. So your 3 always go over your shape exercises. And the reason why is for 3 reasons. For one, you get familiar with the shapes. As you get familiar with these, and these are just 3 basic ones. Actually, there's going to be 4, but so that you get familiar with them and you could put them into your drawings. And this is something you could easily erase. Again, this is only so that you have a basic idea as to the shape and the size for your character or characters, depending on how many you're going to make. And then applying it to body figures. When you apply it to the body figure, you have a better understanding as to how this is going to work. After that, you have what's called the basic picture. So you have a basic understanding as to what you're going to do with this. After we're done with this step, we're going to move on to another step, as to go over your sense of light to dark. So this is what this video is going to be for, and I'm going to show you right now. Ready? So whenever it comes to doing your sense of light and dark, you're going to be doing the front. So you've already seen that the front is already done, and I am switching it to behind. So what happens is that you're going to focus on the back side. So whenever you do the back side, you're going to fill out a darker side of it, because if you already see the top of it, you're going to see that you've already have the front. And so with doing the back side is going to be much darker. As for the second, we're going to be making the sphere. So for the sphere, you're going to have a different sense of direction. So other than the source of light that you see it for the cube, the source of light that's on the sphere is different. So on the sphere, it's going to be on the top. It's going to be right here. This is where your main front of the ball is going to be, where the sphere is going to be. So let me just get out of here. I'm going to make the shade for it. After making the shade, you're going to have two different directions. So the first one right here, that we already made for the light and for the shade. You already have your light reflection. Your light reflective, I'm sorry. And over here you're going to have the dark cast. So whenever you're making the light reflective and the dark cast, it's so that you have a better sense of direction as to where you're going to cast off. As for the last part, just like we did for the cube, we're going to make the shadow. The shadow is what gives us ground, so that we have another understanding as for the value. And we're just going to crosshatch. I personally like crosshatching because it definitely helps whenever you're drawing, whenever you're sketching. It helps out. It helps out a ton. So right here, you have your shadow. So you have your light reflective, the dark cast, and the shadow cast. This gives your shapes better value. And this makes it a whole lot better, especially whenever you're doing your exercises. So you have your light reflective, just like right here with the cube. You have the light cast. Over here at the front for the cube, this right here is the absolute front. This is your main focus point. This is the main front cast, or main front color. And over here you have your dark cast. And obviously this is the shadow. But just like right here, it makes it a whole lot better to understand where your shadow cast is going to be, where your dark cast and your front cast is going to be at. So right here, this is the main focus point of the whole video. You always go over your shapes, and the reason, and it's because these shapes will help your exercises whenever you're going to be making new models, new characters, new everything. And it's to help you out in the long run. So even whenever you're making anime, you understand shapes and poses, and sometimes it's a bit hard, especially whenever you're going over a reference. So say you have a picture of something or even a figure. You're going to be you're going to be basically drawing over them, because the human mind, we have an amazing imagination. As for the memory, it can be clouded sometimes. So going over a reference, so going over a photo of someone posing, it can help a lot. But even so, you're going to be using shapes and different kinds of shapes to be putting inside your figure. So going over your squares, your circles, your triangles, and putting in the dimensions, putting in for the cubes, putting in for the spheres, putting in for the pyramids, putting in for a cylinder. These can help you out a lot. So again, for going over your shape exercises, you need to get familiar with your shapes. After getting familiar, you can apply them to your body figures. And the last part for another practice is to go over your sense of light and dark. Going over your senses for light and dark can really help you. Even if it's just black and white, it helps you understand where your main color is, where your light is going to be, and where to cast off. So to go over, it's the sense of direction, where to cast off, and the value. The value, it's hard to explain to some people because it can be a bit confusing. What it means for a value is how much it can pop. So like going over to the top part, whenever we made the cube, whenever we made all of this, you have your light source, then you have your main front color, then you have your dark cast, and then the shadow. This, to go over your sense of light to dark, this can definitely help you. So again, the main part is to understand where your light is. So for the cube, the top is where it's important. Going over for the sphere, it can help you understand as to where your sense of direction for that one can go, especially whenever you're making whenever you're making something that's going to pop in a way. Another part to understand, especially when it comes to longer parts of the body, is a cylinder. So whenever you make a cylinder, you have your front color, you have your side color, which it can be a little bit hard to understand. But whenever you're making the front color, you have the front of the cylinder, and just like right here, you have the side as well, because it's completely spherical. So you make that part, then go for a darker color, and gently go over. And for this tool, I'm going to use what's called the blur tool, and it can actually make the colors come together really, really nice. And then we make the shadow. So just like the others, it makes it very, very important to make these shapes. It makes it very important to show the value of your shapes and proportions, how to make this come out. So just like right here, I'm showing you, it's even for the top part. It's for the light, for the top light, for the front, the side, or the back, however you call it. And the shadow cast. Understanding these kinds of values can definitely help you. Understanding your shapes, these kind of dimensions can help you a lot. Say whenever you're on Blender, whenever you're drawing in Photoshop, or whenever you're putting in 3D work, anything that comes to mind, these can definitely help you. Thank you everyone so much for watching. I hope this video was instructive, and I hope you actually gained a lot from it. And if you liked it a lot, please give it a like, give it a thumbs up. I do these exercises practically almost every day. It should be a daily thing, or almost every day, but for those who are barely beginning, do this every day until you get very familiar with this. I do this every day, or not every day. I do this like every other day, just to make sure that I don't lose my edge. Because whenever you're drawing and you take it very seriously, you need to make sure that you understand even basic shapes. You need to understand where your source of light is, where to cast off. So whenever you're making new drawings, whenever you're going to cast things off, it definitely helps you. But I really do hope this helps you, and I hope that whatever you're making, no matter what it is, I hope that whenever you do something like this, you can look back within a year. Do this every day, or take a day off or two and then do it again. I hope that this can help you out, and you're gonna look back a year from now and you're gonna say, wow, this actually helped me a lot. I learned a lot and I've grown a lot more from it. So I hope this helps you, and I'm going to be doing more drawings. I'm going to be doing more sketches. My computer, if it cooperates, I will be recording more on Let's Draw Anime. But until then, I will see you in the next video. Bye!